Thanks, guys. Joined now by the Browns head coach Kevin Stefanski. Coach, big divisional game, Monday Night Football. All the eyes of the football world will be on the Browns and the Bengals, and it feels like one we've got to have. What's kind of been the message to the team this week as you get ready for this game?
Yeah, I mean, it's all those things. It's Bengals, it's division opponent, it's Monday Night Football. We know exactly what's at stake. We understand that's a good football team. Super Bowl representative of the AFC last year, so we're excited. We're ready for the challenge.
And they're coming in red hot. They've won 4 of their last 5. Their offense, really, since week 2 has been one of the best, if not the best in the league, certainly throwing the ball. What's made Joe Burrow so effective?
He just keeps getting better. I mean, he's a young player that's getting better, very physically gifted, really good movement skills, and I think you see a player with ultimate comfort in what they're asking him to do. He really understands their scheme, understands all those concepts of where he wants to go with the ball, so he's operating at a high level with his physical ability, but also in his decision making.
When you watch them, and they basically say, look, we're going to get in shotgun, we're going to throw the ball, try and stop us. I mean, they are not even messing around with play action, maybe 17% play action, one of the lowest rates in the league. How are they able to do that in this league today and be so successful?
Well, I think they have good players. Let's start there, right? The quarterback, yes. The receivers, the running back, they got a good tight end. So the ball comes out too. He understands when he needs to get rid of the ball. Now you do open yourself up to risk when you do that, when you play wide open, but to their credit and to their success, they've been able to get the ball out of the quarterback's hand and into the hands of some really impressive playmakers when it comes to yak. When you can drop it down to Boyd or Higgins and those guys can go, I know they'll be without Chase, but they still have guys that can really get yak after that completion.
Interesting kind of in the preparation for this, and this is true offensively and defensively. They don't play a lot of packages. They don't play a lot of guys. They're like, these are our guys. This is who we're playing. So there hasn't been a third receiver that really has played much. They had Higgins out that one game against Baltimore, but how does that affect a team that's 98% 11 personnel when Jamar Chase is elite? He's now out, but that's who they are.
I think they'll do what they do. They've gotten this far doing what they do. It's not a one-man show, really.
No.
So they have good players that I'm sure they'll plug in. As it happens in the NFL, they'll have something for us that they haven't shown, and we'll have the same. So I think that's really remains to be seen until Monday night exactly how that plays out.
And then conversely, defensively, they do everything, right? They do a little bit of every coverage in the book. They don't really have something they hang their hat on per se. They got 2 guys up front who can get to the quarterback, led by Trey Hendrickson. What do you see from this defense and how they've been able to be so effective?
Yeah, it's a really good defense. Obviously, we've gone against them the last few years, so got a good feel for their scheme. I just think it's a very sound scheme with players that understand what they want to accomplish in that scheme. So they, like you mentioned, they can play cover 2, cover 4, man, 3 deep, fire zone, you name it, but they do a nice job in disguise. They do a nice job working together in all those coverages. So at every level, whether you're talking defensive line, linebacker, defensive backs, they have playmakers at each one of those spots, and they seem to play a very sound version of defense.
You know, lots of times we go into these games, we'll say, well, if we can get, our tight ends on their linebackers and safeties, that's an advantage. Well, Von Bell's playing very well. Jesse Bates is very good. And then in the linebacker, Logan Wilson has 7 picks since he's come in the league. Will likely be without David Njoku. We don't see. We'll see. How do you kind of scheme for a team where they are better covering in positions where most teams are not?
I think it depends on the game and how it's played and how it's called. I think with their defense, I think they really do have good corners, good inside players. When you call a pass, you have 5 eligibles. So the ball really goes where it should based on the coverage,
Sure.
And that's kind of how we'll handle that. So there will be opportunities for our receivers. There still are opportunities for the tight ends and the running backs. But I think when you play multiple coverages, it's really important that the quarterback takes the ball where it's supposed to go on any given play.
What do you think, if you look back at the last 2 years, 4-0 against the Bengals, what's kind of been the recipe for success? Is there anything that jumps out that maybe styles make the fights, we just match up well with them?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I got so much respect for Coach Taylor and his staff and these players. I mean, it's going to be a battle. That's what it is. We recognize that. We know what this team is capable of, from the high-powered offense to a really good defense. So that's the challenge in all of this. We're excited for Monday night.
It's a little bit of a civil war too. Coach Callahan, his son, their offensive coordinator. What's that kind of been like for Coach, and does that add a little extra juice to this one for him? Yeah,
Brian Callahan, the coordinator for the Bengals, does an awesome job, as you know. So I know it's something special for Coach Callahan. I don't know the feeling, but to be able to compete against your son in the division probably makes it harder on the Callahan family.
I would imagine it does. Coach, thanks for the time. Best of luck. Halloween, Monday Night Football at First Energy Stadium.
Thanks, Nathan.
Bye.